Bryce Simmons is Vice President in charge of research at Imani and President of Pedigree. He joins us via Zoom for more on this. Good evening, Bryce. What's the basis for the claim that the EC is using old equipment?
Let me clarify the exact point that we made. We said that the EC is using some of the BVRs that it is claimed are obsolete in this registration. Now, it's important that we understand the origin of this whole controversy. The EC mounted a public campaign claiming that since 2011, it has not upgraded or purchased new equipment. That is how this whole controversy between civil society and the EC emanated. We then said that based on information that the EC itself had submitted to Parliament, based on audited records that the Auditor General has made available for everybody to go and check, the EC was being completely dishonest, and that equipment have been bought and continue to be bought. And as late as 2019, they were still taking delivery of equipment. And in fact, in 2018, according to parliamentary records, according to records that the Finance Ministry has, the EC had bought about 2,000 of these BVRs. So the question was, where are these BVRs? Almost brand new BVRs. So when the registration started, those of us that are interested in this matter, the EC, don't forget, the EC has refused to engage on these matters throughout the campaign. Now, scouts made up of freelance journalists then went to some of the stations, particularly in three major areas in Accra: in Santa Maria, in Kwashiman, and in Koliklote. And they found evidence of some of the HP laptops being used in the registration process. They took video footage of this and they sent them to us. And we published the video evidence. And that video evidence is still available online. I believe Joy FM has published some of that video evidence. Now, if the Electoral Commission says that none of these laptops found their way into the registration centers, can only mean one of three things. One, they don't have control over their own logistics, and therefore somehow people without authorization have put some of these out. Two, they've found that their cover has been blown, and they have rapidly mounted a cover-up scheme. Or three, we have a situation where the EC, despite having done all of this, is just adamant, as it's been all along, to refuse to confront evidence of its own conduct and in some cases misconduct.
You have
but the key point, yes, go ahead.
No, make your point.
But the key issue that you need to make sure that the EC does not get away with answering is what happened to the BVRs, 2,000 of them bought in 2018, an extra 150 or so that, according to a very prominent journalist, was delivered in 2019. Where are they? Why is the EC not able to get its basic statistical calculations right? Because it argues that it's using 90% of 8,500 devices. And yet we know for a fact that they're only operating about 6,788 centers. If they were using 90% of those devices, they'll be operating in a minimum of 7,500 stations. But at the very least, we've seen congestion across the country. If the EC indeed did not have a diabolic agenda, why would they not increase the number of laptops that are available for this, using some of the 2,000 laptops that they bought, some of the 2,000 laptops that they bought in 2018 and in 2019? It's a very simple question that you need to ask the EC. We need to have more centers operating. They claim they have 8,500 equipment. They're using 90% of them. They've got 2,000 brand new ones that they bought in 2018 and a couple of others they bought in 2019. Why are they not deploying them? The question has not been asked properly of them. And that is why they are able now to come out and boldly tell us that, oh, we bought 5,500 new ones and thrown the other ones away. And we're actually challenging people to show us that we are using some of those old equipment.
But you have seen, you've seen, You've seen the statement from the Electoral Commission. They insist they have procured new equipment, and for that matter, those are the equipments they're using. Have you seen that statement?
Nobody disputes that they've bought new equipment. We've been running a campaign against them buying new equipment. And they've spent, what, $70 million or so buying equipment. So nobody disputes that. We are saying, though, that some of that equipment that they claim are obsolete are in use. And that stems from claims we've made consistently. We've argued that in 2018, they bought thousands of equipment, that in 2016, they spent almost $60 million refurbishing the equipment and buying new ones. And if you add all of that together, there is evidence, therefore, that you have brand new equipment that could be used. That has been our position all along. Our statements in recent times were of three dimensions. One was that we have evidence that those laptops could be used, and they have been used. And therefore, it just simply reinforces the points we've been making all along. That number two, the cameras that you are seeing are standard cameras, no different from the ones that they had in the HSB Genki system. And therefore, the images they are going to take are not dramatically different. They are going to be ICAO or ICAO 9303 compliant or CBEFF compliant, just like the one that they used the previous system to gather. And therefore, the only change will have to be an activation of the facial recognition module in the software. That process could have been done with the existing system. So they didn't need to spend any money to buy new BVRs in order to be able to deploy facial recognition technology. And they have confirmed that. They've confirmed that the digital cameras that they have are the normal digital cameras, and you can see them on the screen now. Those digital cameras are not any different from the ones that we've had before because they are not 3D, for instance. They are standard digital cameras. So what was the point of saying that in order to deploy facial recognition technology, you need to buy new BVRs? That was completely reckless. So it does not make... Yes, go ahead, please.
Make your point, Mr. Simons.
So it does not make any sense for the EC now to purport to have something new to share or to be debunking evidence, because that's not what they're doing. They don't even understand the claims you're making. So let me repeat the claims. There were three claims that we made recently. One was that when they say that the congestion in the registration centers were as a result of individual citizen misconduct, they were lying because the videos that we showed proved that the design of the centers were such that you couldn't enforce social distancing in those centers. So the crowding and what have you were all by design. The way that those centers were set up were such that you will have congestion. That was number one. Number two, they claimed that because they needed facial recognition technology, they needed to throw away thousands of laptops. Remember that? Thousands of laptops and devices costing the country about $100 million in the last decade had to be thrown away because the new ones that they needed to deploy are the only ones that can do facial recognition technology. Now, they are telling us that what they are using is standard cameras, taking standard visual images. And we are saying that those visual images that exist today are of a standard, because we've checked with HSB and Genki, who are the original people that developed those technologies that were used to take the initial visual data. They can be used for facial recognition. So you don't need to throw away the laptops, buy a new one, add a new camera, because the new cameras that you've added have no specialized features. They're just ordinary digital cameras. And therefore, it makes no sense to have done what they did. That was the second point, which they have not responded to. The third point, in reinforcement of our argument, that if you bought laptops in 2018 and 2019, you cannot throw them away, buy a whole new set, and claim then that you are having difficulties with congestion. You should be using the laptops. But if you are using the laptops, then it debunks your argument that all those laptops date from 2011. So the question you should be asking them is very simple. Do we have laptops that date from 2018 and 2019? Are they therefore new and in serviceable condition? Why are they not being used?
So what's
and if we claim that we've seen those, yes, go ahead.
What's the next step of your advocacy?
No, our advocacy is building up towards getting the Auditor General to conduct an extensive asset audit. We've written repeatedly to different bodies, including the Auditor General, asking for this audit. Why do we need this audit? This Electoral Commission, and remember, we're not talking of the Electoral Commission as specific individuals there. We're talking of the Electoral Commission as an institution that has been there for years. It has never successfully passed an asset audit. An asset audit simply means you go there, you inspect their equipment, you inspect other things that you bought to see, are they in the right conditions, where are they? We don't even know how they dispose of the equipment that they frequently tell us have to be thrown away for new ones to be bought. Nobody has a clue. They have never accounted for the equipment that they've consistently told us have to be replaced. We don't know whether they auction them, whether they carry them and put them somewhere else, or whether they distribute them to people that have absolutely no authority to receive them. We don't know. So we need an asset audit. And we are arguing that two things. The equipment that they bought in 2018, a lot of those that they refurbished and bought in 2016, and those that they received in 2019 are useful laptops. They are brand new, and they should be using them. Lastly, we've seen some of them in use, which reinforces the point we're making that they are in viable condition and they should be used. None of the things that you've said today respond to any of these very important claims. And we expect the media to hold them, their feet in particular, to fire, because they are not answering the questions.
I'm grateful for your time. Bright Simons is Vice President of Imani Africa.